The girl who tasted like forgiveness. I've been alive for 347 years. I've watched empires collapse. I've seen plagues swallow entire cities. I've stood at the edge of battlefields and felt nothing. No grief, no horror, not even curiosity, just silence. The long, exhausting silence of someone who has seen everything and stopped expecting to be surprised. Then she spilled coffee on my coat in a Chicago bookstore, and everything I thought I knew about myself turned to ash. Her name was Zara. She was 26, messy hair, wearing a sweater with a small hole near the left elbow. She looked up at me with these wild brown eyes and said, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I promise, I'm usually a disaster only in private." I hadn't laughed in 40 years. I laughed. I should have walked away. Every instinct told me to take my ruined coat, give her a polite note, and disappear back into the version of my life that made sense. Controlled, cold, but safe. Instead, I said, "Can I buy you a replacement coffee? Since mine is apparently wearing yours now." She smiled. And something inside my chest, something I had convinced myself was long dead, moved. We met every Tuesday after that. The bookstore became our place. She'd recommend novels she loved, and I pretend I hadn't read first editions of half of them. She talked about her job at a non-profit, her complicated relationship with her mother, the solo trip to Portugal she kept planning and never booking. I listened the way I hadn't listened to another human in decades. Completely, hungrily, like every word she said mattered. Because it did. God help me, it did. I kept my distance physically, always. If she noticed I never removed my gloves, she never said anything. If she found it strange that I always suggested evening meetings, she just laughed and said she was a night person too. I told myself it was manageable. I told myself I could be her friend. Just her friend. And that would be enough. I was lying to myself. By December, I was in love with her. Completely. Irreversibly. And I was terrified. Not of losing control. I had 3 centuries of iron discipline. I was terrified of something far worse. I was terrified she would look at me and see the truth. It happened on a Tuesday in January. We were walking along the riverfront after the bookstore closed. It was late, well below freezing, and I watched her breath make small clouds in the air while mine made none. She hadn't noticed that yet. People rarely do until they do. She slipped on a patch of ice near the railing. I got her arm before she had fallen an inch, faster than any human being could have moved. Her eyes went to my hand, her arm, and slowly up to my face. The silence lasted maybe 4 seconds. It felt like 4 years. "Your hands," she said quietly. "They're always cold." I read cold. "Marcus," she said my name carefully, like she was testing it weights. "I've been watching you for 2 months. You don't eat. You don't breathe in the cold. You move just now like..." She stopped, swallowed. "What are you?" I could have lied. I was extraordinarily good at lying. 300 years of practice. But I looked at her face, and I couldn't do it. For the first time in centuries, I just couldn't do it. "Something that should stay away from you," I said. "Something that has been trying to, and failing completely." She didn't run. That stunned me more than anything else. She said, "Tell me everything." So I did. We sat on a bench in the freezing dark, and I told her 300 years of truth. The village in northern France where I was turned at 21. The decades of learning control, the long loneliness of watching everyone I allowed myself to care about grow old and disappear. I told her things I hadn't spoken aloud in over a century. She listened. When I finished, she sat quietly for a long moment. Then she said, "That sounds incredibly lonely. Not you're a monster, not stay away from me, not screaming, not running. That sounds incredibly lonely." I had to look away from her because something was happening behind my eyes that hadn't happened in centuries, and I refused to let her see it. You should be afraid of me, I told her. I know, she said simply. Are you afraid of you? Every single day. She nodded slowly, like that answer meant something important to her. Then she stood up, straightened her coat, and said, "Same time next Tuesday?" I almost said no. I knew what the right answer was. The safe answer. The answer that protected her. Yes, I said. One night near the end, after 6 months of just speaking, when I was just the two of us, and the room was quiet, she took my face in her hand, her warm, tired hands, and she looked at me with those brown eyes and said, "I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest." "Always," I said. "You could turn." It wasn't a question. We both knew it wasn't. I could stay. We could have more time. The word yes was pressing against my teeth. Everything I had. I thought about what I would be giving her, not life. A version of life. Cold, permanent, the long, exhausting silence of someone who watches everything end. You would lose the part of you that makes you, Mara, I said. My voice didn't break. I made sure of it. She searched my face for a long time. "You already decided, huh?" she said softly. "I decided the moment I met you," I told her. "Some things are worth protecting even when it destroys you." She cried. I held her. I did not let myself come apart until I was alone. And then I did, completely, for the first time in over 100 years. Here's the part that will stay with me until whatever finally ends me. After she was gone, I went back to the bookstore. I don't know why. Maybe because it was the only place on earth that still felt like her. The owner handed me an envelope. Mara had left it 3 weeks before. Inside was a single photograph of the two of us. Someone had taken it without us noticing. On the back she had written, "You've been alive for centuries and you still chose kindness over selfishness. That's not nothing. That's everything." I've been alive for 347 years. I thought I had felt everything the world had to offer and found it wanting. I was wrong. She told me that the girl with the hole in her sweater who spilled coffee on my old coat and looked like a monster, and asked if he was okay. I still meet Tuesdays in the bookstore. I still can't bring myself to stop.